46 minutes past the hour. We thank you for joining us and staying with us right here on the Daily Report. As we promise you every Tuesday, we bring you a conversation on the People's Court. And tonight we did tell you that we're having a conversation on matters sanity on our roads. We did see the bikes. We shall be telling you what that is all about. Victor Muyakane and Linda Alela are on the other sides of the studio. But on my set here, I do have two gentlemen whom we shall be discussing matters safety on the roads. And they are gentlemen who are involved in this transport sector. I'm talking about Kevin Mubadi. He's the National Chair, Boda Safety Association of Kenya, as well as Charles Munyoi, Border Riders Awards Project Director. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And before we even go to safety of the roads, I will begin with you, Bana Kevin.
Yes.
Why is it that there is so much condemnation of the guys you represent?
Okay, when you look at the population of the people we have, yes, it is a huge population. One united, huge population compared to other sectors.
Yes.
So, leading over 2 million people, and everybody has his or her own character. So, and you see with the Kenyan people, you find that when one person does a mistake, they condemn everyone. For instance, the incident that happened in Kitengela, it was just a few group of people who did all those madness, but you see they are condemning the whole border sector. But what we are trying to do as an organization is to mop out and remove all the bad elements within us. And this is a project that we have been doing, sensitization programs and all those other things. I was in Kisumu. We are planning another meeting in Trans Nzoia County to make sure that we sensitize our people and teach them the good morals and how they should behave while they are on the road. What you are telling them is they should know that that is their office. The way you wake up early in the morning, come to this place to work, and then at the evening you go home, you get your salary at the end of the day. The same way our people should take their job, because they also wake up early in the morning, go work, come back in the evening with a packet of unga or milk. So it's just about the behavior change. Yeah.
Talking about behavior change, before we go to Charles, I want to find out from you, in your view or from your perspective, looking at how the industry and the sector has performed over years, alongside with condemnation and praises along the way. Do you think that there has been an improvement? How would you scale the operations of the Border Association in this country?
Okay, there have been a lot of improvement because we have done a lot of sensitization and training to our members. First of all, to make sure that they get driving licenses. We have been partnering with MPs through CDF, other driving schools, to just sensitize these people and make sure they get this vital documents. And when you look at the incidences, sometimes back you will find that the border riders used to ban vehicles almost weekly. They used to fight on the road almost weekly. There was demonstration almost weekly. There's a week that could not pass without that. But as an organization, we have tried our level base. In fact, the incidents that have returned us back is the one at Kitengela. Maybe something after like 2 years. After that one at Forest Road.
Yes.
So you can see that there have been a lot of changes in this sector. But that one incident have set us back. But we are committed to forge ahead and ensuring that we lead people who are focused and dedicated to doing their job with the upright morals.
I will be coming back to you to look at how now to curb these situations in the future. Charles, I'm curious, before one even gets interested in having a border on the road, what are the ABCs, what are the primaries, what are the foundations that one should consider before getting into this sector?
I think that should have gone to Kevin.
Yes.
But because I'll explain what we do. Actually, Border Riders Awards, and he's aware, is an initiative by One Love Kenya. It's essentially aims at ensuring that self-regulation is enhanced within the border industry, because everything else has been tried. You have seen them being bashed left, right, and center, and a few weeks later, they are back to the bad old ways. So that was a motivational way of telling them, and maybe we'll explain that later along the way, what Border Riders Awards is all about. But essentially, that is where the problem is. This is an industry that came absolutely from nowhere. Then it became the biggest employer, if you ask me, to date, without proper regulations. both internal and external.
Yes.
To the extent that even ministers sometimes forget when they're talking about accidents, they will rush because there's a bus that has maybe overturned, killed so many. But last year, the pedestrians, the biggest number of casualties were border riders. Yeah, and their pillion passengers. They contributed the second largest number of deaths on our roads. So I think this is an industry that needs to be looked at, because you will find there are certain dynamics. And I'll give you an example.
Yes.
There was an example that was given of someone being trained to ride. So there are two of them on a motorcycle. If you hang around at some stage somewhere, you'll find them going that way. Obviously, one training the other one. Then shortly after that, you'll see them coming back. The one who was being trained now riding, and the other one is a passenger.
Yes.
Then if you hang around for another 3-4 minutes, you'll find the guy who was being trained now on his own. If you're there for another 10 minutes, the trainee will be back with a pedestrian, with a passenger. So I think that is essentially how this industry has been operating. And again, the issue of even the licensing, who is supposed to get what license, who is supposed to get what, becomes a bit complicated. Secondly, they are pressured, because many of them have borrowed money to buy these bikes, and I know they pay exorbitantly. They are charged a lot of money to repay. So there's a lot of pressures around them, and they also feel like they are being targeted, as it were. So when you feel like you're being targeted, what you usually do is come close together as one unit and feel like now we must deal with everyone else collectively. So I think there are a lot of dynamics around this industry, but we cannot do without it. And the beauty about it is that every one of us, every family, every individual has that favorite border rider. The guy you call, the guy you allow into your home, the guy who does everything, just about everything.
Yes.
So each one of us has that one. So what happens collectively with the industry? What happens? Because there must be something that really happens to make those very nice individuals turn collectively into people that we are not very happy about. So there is hope, but that hope now needs to be built on around being organized, self-regulation, actually even studying this industry. They are making a lot of money, by the way, for the record. They do a lot of money. As Kevin will tell you, it is billions of cash every day for them as an industry.
What's the turnover, Kevin? He has handed you the ball.
Okay. When we look at fuel, we are just trying to check the increase in fuel that was there for 15%.
Yes.
So we are saying that if it increases by 15 shillings per day, it's around 555 million. That's the
555.
Yes. So we consume a lot of fuel in this country.
Yes.
Imagine we have 2 million motorcycles, and a motorcycle, one motorcycle must spend like 300 shillings at least a day.
A day.
Every motorcycle must at least fuel around that figure. So when you multiply the 300 shillings times 2 million, that is around how much? 600 million.
600 million, yeah.
Yes, that is only on fuel. So when you look at the profit, you can imagine how much we spend. And that is only fuel. But now when you come to maybe our income, because at least per day, border rider will go home with around 600 shillings to 1,200.
Yeah.
So when you multiply that by 2 million, 1,000 by 2 million, that's around
1.2. 12.
Around 1,200 times 2 million, that's a 1 B a day.
Per day.
Yeah, so we are talking about 365 billion every year.
Every year.
Money that is circulates through the border sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question that I had posed to Charles, that is through to you, what are some of the primary things that one needs to consider, because you're the national chair?
Yes.
What are some of the policies that you've put in place and said, okay, moving forward, and perhaps you can tell us when you did that, when you want to get into this sector, you have to satisfy these bare minimums to avoid the situation, the scenario that he painted?
You know, the challenge is that when the border business started in the country, I think the government thought it started with a bicycle. So with a bicycle, you can fall down, wake up, wipe yourself, and continue with your day. There's no injuries, there's nothing. But by the time the government realized that, oh, this thing is a motorized and it is killing people, it was too late. So people entered into the business before getting trained. You know, when you want to drive a vehicle, you must go to a driving school. That was the law. But with the motorcycle, people entered before they got trained. Okay. So by the time the government was coming back to train them, the number has grown too much that they cannot control. So the first thing that you need for you to be on the road as per the law, you must be 18 years and above. That's number one. You must have a national ID. Then from there, you must have a driving license. Okay. The three things are very, very vital. Now, currently, as we sit, anybody, anywhere can just jump on a motorbike, get trained because he knows how to ride a bicycle. He can balance a motorcycle. He continues with the business. Yes. The reason why these things were also happening is that when you look down deep in the villages, there's no driving school. You can find that where you live and where a town where there is a driving school is around 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers. So there's nobody who will travel for 150 kilometers to go get trained for 2 hours and come back. That is impossible. So the measures that we are trying to put in place in collaboration with the national government is to use the NYS. Remember, we train TOTs at the NYS so that these NYS TOTs can be deployed to the DCC offices in the counties down there, where these riders now can easily access the chiefs and all those things.
All right. Yes. Indeed, Charles, I see you nodding. We will be coming to, telling us what your initiative and the awards project rather is all about. But I want us to cross over to the other side and, have a conversation, or rather Linda Lela, to tell us with whom she is speaking. Remember, these are conversation about matters sanity on our roads, that is looking at what needs to be done. I did tell you that we have representatives from all sectors, especially road users. But for now, I'm informed we need to take a short break. When we come back, we cross over to Linda and, of course, Victor Muyakane. And Victor has his co-riders on set. DStv.
And now the ball is on my court, and with me is Melania Thwita. Melania Thwita is an expert parkside road safety awareness and a lady who has dealt with so much of the policy makers on what plays out on the roads right here in the country. So perhaps she would tell us what is this that they say that, lags us behind in terms of attaining road safety, because as it stands, we really are not there just yet. And also we have Brown Shalwa, who's a taxi driver and a road user. Certainly we have said that by default, we all are road users. So Melania, I come straight to you. And I'm looking at some of the things that are written here, some of the questions that we keep asking ourselves as to the roads. And that consecutively, we have seen reports from NTSA, we have seen reports from the Kenya National Highway Authority that indicate about 80% of incidences that we have on the roads are due to human error. Perhaps if you're going to ask the driver here, he's going to tell you, no, it's not so. Maybe it's the situation of the roads are not so good, the signages are not so good, especially during the rainy seasons. What would you attribute these numerous accidents that we have today to?
Thank you so much, Linda. Yes, you said something, human error, but I'll defy that and say we don't have anything to do with human error.
Why?
Because we start with how are our designs of our roads. That's where mostly we try to ignore, and you'll hear the policy makers talking about just accident, but who is not doing their job. When we come to our roads in Kenya, how are they designed? Are they designed a way that they accommodate each and everybody, that is the riders, the pedestrians, the people living with disabilities? You'll find most of the roads are not designed the way they should be.
As beautiful as the roads may be, most of them are recent, yeah? Constructions are underway day in, day out. You are in this space. Is it that we do not make enough noise, or is it that the policy makers are asleep on these particular concerns that you raise? Because if today I'm going to wake up and look at a road that has been carpeted recently, and I ask myself, where are the considerations that need to be put? Where are the signages? Are they clear? Are they the way they should be? And these concerns that you raise, why is it that we keep seeing roads being constructed, yet this has not been factored in?
It's because the people constructing the roads, they are in the office.
Okay.
They don't go to the ground to see, yes, this is the design of the road, but on the ground, is it what it is? No. That's why you'll hear somebody saying, according to our data, this road was made back in 2009, but on the ground.
So you want us to forgive all those ones that, drink and drive? You want us
to
we don't forgive those ones that drive 24 hours without taking rest?
No. We just started from one point.
Okay.
What are cause of these road accidents? Sometimes we blame the driver so much, but we must start somewhere.
Okay.
If you design the road well, you are able to enforce to these people who are drinking and driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brown, how comfortable are you on the roads today, as a driver, as a person who engages very many people, who carry lives around? Just how comfortable are you in terms of the designs of the roads, in terms of, how easy you're able to maneuver, in terms of, safety at the space of the roads?
Yeah, I cannot say I'm very safe on the road. So we have what we call self-discipline. Then this thing of maybe people coming up with a lot of issue on the road, like accidents, whatever, sometimes we should be blaming ourselves. Also, we also blame those who are in authorities, those who are also in the offices. We are also blaming them. We lack what we call cooperation. You find in Kenya, we have a lot of pressure. People survive with a lot of pressure. For you find some of these accidents, you find maybe people are overspeeding. I can maybe relate a case with the president of Pota Pota.
Yes.
You see, for Pota Pota guys, you find several riders from Pota Pota, they are purchasing a motorbike from Shiloh companies.
Okay.
So you find that per day, they need you to pay 700 per day for that motorbike. Then you need also to get something you take it at home for your kids or for your wife. So you find it difficult. Maybe now you see the situation, the cost of living is high, the price of fuel, they're looking at you, you are the one to fuel the motorbike, you are the one to fuel the car, you need to pay the loan. So you operate under pressure. Then you find that population, we have a lot of people who are...
Let's have the mic up,
Yeah, we have a lot of people who are operating as taxi drivers. We have a lot of riders who are operating with the motorbikes. And all of them need to take something from the roads to their homes.
Okay.
So you find it difficult. Maybe sometime you can get from your home to the road. There is no enough request. There is no enough deliveries.
Okay.
So you find that if you get one of those deliveries, you need to hurry up.
Yes.
At the moment you are hurrying up, also you find that a taxi driver is also on a hurry. So you find somewhere like a motorbike, maybe he mess up with something then.
Well, this is an interesting angle that Brown is bringing. The socio-economic factors, the mental health factors, the comfort factors. I don't know who is going to respond to this, because this is quite crucial and perhaps a concern that we might want to overlook. Melania, have you sat down with policymakers that put to consideration some of these concerns? Because it's fine, you might actually think of blaming a driver who's already, drained, a driver who's already not so happy, but they have to hit the road because after all, they have to make ends meet. And I know this cannot justify any form of, road accidents or here and that, but just how crucial is it for us to address some of these socioeconomic factors to ensure that, again, there's safety on the roads?
Okay, fine. He has addressed a very, I would call it, it's very crucial, yeah. But I find to wonder, yes, you are working under pressure. And if all of us in this country, we say we are working under pressure.
Therefore, things should go haywire.
So where could we be? Okay. If everybody say, okay, the socio-economic is a bit, the cost of living is very high, so I decide I'll also work under pressure. So I find whatever he is saying, at some point, I don't agree.
Okay.
Because we are all in this country, and we can't just justify and say, because I'm a boda rider, I'm a taxi driver, I need to meet target, I also need to meet those targets.
Okay.
So why should I do the wrong thing? Yes, because whatever, it's not about mental health. You know what you are doing.
Brown, are you acknowledging that you're guilty as charged? That when we say it's a lot of human error that gets us to have, indiscipline at the level of the roads, for us to get lots of accidents. Are you accepting that that is the case?
Yeah, I accept it like 70%.
Okay.
Because you find
that's quite a huge percentage, yes?
Rules and regulations are there. We also have traffic police monitoring those rules and regulations on the roads.
Okay.
But they are not enough to monitor each of us.
Okay.
So we need just to have self-discipline. I respect you, you respect me. Then we also all meet our target.
Okay.
Everybody is fighting on the road to meet his or her target. But what we need all to do for us to meet our target, perhaps pressure and whatever, we need to respect each other on the road. Because you find, like I used to work as a taxi driver at night.
Okay.
But because of the behavior,
at night,
like the government of Kenya, let's say, I don't know how the plan is, they are deploying more patrol police officers daytime.
Okay.
But at night, we don't have them. So
you're safer. You
a
would
taxi
rather.
driver working at night is not safe.
Okay.
But a taxi driving working
during the day
is somehow safe. Somehow safe.
Okay.
So you find that during the night, we have few who are working at night, but more are working
during the day.
Because
they're seeking to get.
And then there is one thing also. Rules and regulations are there, but we are the one violating them.
Okay.
If you see, you are two of you somewhere, there's no a police officer. Then instead of going to the right, you go long way to get to the right point. You will go long way. You just go left. then you make a corner, then you...
How many times have you done that? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want us to cross over to Victor. But before even then, you did not answer my question as to what do you feel every time you're using the roads in the country, say Nairobi. You operate from Nairobi or?
Yeah, I operate from Nairobi.
From Nairobi.
Yes.
Just how friendly are the roads for you as a user of it?
On the road, things are not good because of that pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, you find like we have a matatu driver, we have different people.
Yes.
Using the road.
Indiscipline on the road.
Indiscipline on the road.
How do we get to address this?
Maybe I can say the government need to come up with another method to monitor. Maybe installation of more CCTV cameras like that, so that it can help them to monitor every corner. And then we have like a patrol security officers where we have like a scene. Like now, when I was coming here, I used Outer Ring Road.
Right.
I found that there is a matatu involved in an accident with a Prado. But for like 1 hour, they have been there waiting for police officer, but nobody's there.
All right.
So the government need to invest more in technology so that it can be easy for them to monitor, even outside Nairobi where you can, it's very difficult to monitor.
Monitoring is one big concern, Victor Muyakani, and we cross over to you, perhaps just to get to feel the view of the ladies who use. You all, the three of you are riders or bikers?
In one form or
Enlighten
another.
us.
One way or another, we ride. All
right.
Thank you, Linda. Now, good people, as you can see, we are, in full regalia over here with my guests. I would like to introduce them as quickly as we can. We proceed with the conversation. First, to my extreme left, we have Cyprian Odada. Karibu sana. Cyprian is an urban planner, but she comes here as the executive director of Critical Mass Cycling Nairobi. And I would like to say this is one of the most influential cycling groups or cycling associations, not just in the country, but I'm told in the continent as well. Karibu sana. She's also a researcher with a particular focus on transport matters, and particularly non-motorized transport. What do I mean by that? We mean, non-motorized, without a motor, without an engine. We're talking bicycles, we're talking wheelchairs, we're talking Futsubishi, Lexus, Subaru, and all of that. Next, we have Mingina. She prefers to be called as Mingina. She has another name, a Christian name. I'll tell you quickly, it's Jane, but she prefers Mingina. Karibu sana. She wears many hats, or should I say many helmets. But today she comes in from, again, one of the most influential, it was stressed that I should say this, influential and impactful riding associations or riding clubs in the country. That's entirely made up. I believe the entire population is women. So it's brilliant. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Real quick, in the years that you've been riding, talk to us through about your experience of safety on our roads.
When you speak safety, I think the first thing that comes into my mind is, before we actually get into what I am wearing, is how am I upstairs? Am I mentally straight to actually be on the road? Am I sickly? Am I fatigued? Am I overworked? Am I well rested? So that's safety number one before we actually get into all of this. Then we get into what am I wearing here? So we have a rule as riders. When I say riders, I mean it's both the private bikers and the boda-bodas. The rule is ATG, ATG, ATT, all the gear, all the time. So if I'm going to the shop to get bread, it's like 200 meters away from the house. If I'm living with a bike, I need to have my whole gear.
By gear, you mean the safety, the clothing, and the gloves, and the helmet?
Yes.
So all the gear, all the time?
All the gear, all the time. Is it a short ride? Is it a long ride? Is it a random? Do you know where you're going or you're not? Is it that Christmas season where you leave and then come back after 3 days? I still need my
all
gear.
The gear.
All the gear, all the time.
Right.
So when you speak safety, am I right up here? Am I dressed properly? Then we can speak safety.
What have you seen on our roads since you started to ride up to now?
Seen from which perspective?
From as a rider, what have you experienced on our roads when it comes to safety?
I have seen, it's interesting when you get on the roads, it's very, very interesting. I'll use the word interesting at this point because you get to see bikers, I'll call all of us riders at this point, that are aware that they need to keep safe. They are learned, I will call them learned at this point, but they choose not to for their own 1, 2, 3 reasons. Why? You'll hear someone tell you that I do not wear a helmet because I cannot see nor breathe properly inside the helmet. But then, unfortunately, if anything does happen, if you get an accident, if you fall off your bike, the first thing that hits the ground most of the time is your head. So you definitely 100% need your helmet. So I'll honestly say I've seen gear save lives. I've seen gear prevent extreme damages, and I've seen lack of gear lead into very fatal accidents.
Right. Some of our guests have spoken about our attitudes, and you have touched on it as well. Talk to us, generally speaking, how are we as a country, as road users, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to courtesy for other road users as well? What have you experienced?
I have experienced both sides of that road. I have experienced courtesy where I did not even expect it, and I've experienced the opposite of courtesy. I do not know what that is, but I have seen it. I've seen people be arrogant because you're on a 2-wheel. I've seen people arrogant because you are a lady on 2 wheels. I've seen people be arrogant because, you can use the pedestrian path, you can fit there, why don't you go there? And I've seen people literally stop in the middle of the road to let you pass just because you're on 2 wheels. I've seen people stop to let you pass because you are a female biker, and I've seen people let you pass because you deserve to be on the road with them. Because the road is meant to be shared.
I see. The road is meant to be shared. Now, Cyprian, you've ridden for quite a long time. If I'm not mistaken, 2024 would be your 10th year on the roads. As a cyclist, talk to us through your own experience on the roads all this time. What have you seen? What have you gathered in terms of how we behave, what you've seen, what are the gaps? Talk to us through that.
Well, cycling since 2014, definitely I've seen a lot of things on the streets of Nairobi. When I cycle, I come in with a different lens, sometimes I feel like I'm an urban planner surveying the roads and making assessments. Sometimes I'm just a woman on a bicycle and I see a lot of things. But what I've experienced over the years is there's a lot more visibility for cyclists. It has actually been safer for cyclists over the years. Cyclists are more vocal, and it has just, motorists have started noticing cyclists on the road. I think we're also becoming more flashy on what we wear on the road.
Like this?
Yes.
High visibility?
Yes, and now we advocate a lot for helmet use and people to just be equipped with all the right gears and all the right tools to make them safe on the road. However, there's also there's still a lot of aggression from motorists particularly and border riders, which make it very difficult for cyclists to use the roads. And there's also a lot of ignorance from pedestrians who do not necessarily understand how to use the roads. So we have some unfortunate incidences that come up that could be avoided. But overall, I would say cycling in Nairobi particularly has become better. The government and the county government is constructing more bike lanes. They could be improved to make the experience more enjoyable and safer, but in all honesty, cycling has become a little bit safer.
Okay. So once again, one of the things you do, like you said, is you're an urban planner. Talk to us through the gaps in our systems, in our roads, that actually create conflict between all the different road users. By that I mean the pedestrians, the cyclists, such as yourselves, the riders, such as our brothers and sisters, and the people in cars as well. Talk to us through what are the gaps that creates that kind of clash?
I mean, there's so many gaps, but for me, the main thing is the way we as urban planners and by extension, not even by extension, civil engineers, what we are taught in school does not really benefit the road users.
What do you mean
We are
by
not
that?
taught how to design roads that have non-motorized transport infrastructure. I did not learn that in school. When I started cycling, I honestly denounced my profession as an urban planner because I felt very embarrassed. I could see and I could experience how people are suffering. And I blamed my profession for that. I blame engineers because we are setting people up for failure. And then once we design those roads that do not have bike lanes, that do not have proper signage, that have very sharp corners, we blame the road users. We accuse them of being reckless. But we don't look at ourselves. We don't look at the curriculum. We should look at the engineering curriculum. We need to revise it and see what we are teaching, what the engineers and the urban planners are coming out of school with. And even the manuals that are being used by now the national government. It's quite unfortunate that it's only in 2023 that we've started getting a new manual. It's not even, it hasn't been adopted yet. But if you look keenly into that manual, you will realize that NMT is only a snippet, and we're using motor vehicle data to determine how NMT infrastructure is being designed. How can we decide that we are going to build, let's say, a 6-meter lane and count on motor vehicle data and not even think about counting the pedestrians? Nairobi is a city of pedestrians. Hopefully cyclists.
We're a city of walkers.
Yes, but we never count pedestrians to determine how much space these pedestrians require. So we'll find somebody who comes from, let's say, Maralal, who has never seen a highway. And they come to Nairobi for the first time. They will be killed crossing the road because, we've never considered them. So there's a lot of things as an urban planner that really frustrate me because I know we are to blame for a lot of the things, but it will take a very brave urban planner and a very brave civil engineer to accept that we have a lot to do with the mess that we are in.
All right. That's incredibly honest. Mingina, I want to ask you this. And you need to be candid here. You're on national television, truth be told, hand on Bible. Did you go for proper training before you got on this beast or whatever beast you started out with?
I have been threatened before that question, but yes, I'm going to answer honestly.
Yes.
Yes, I have been trained professionally by a professionally certified tutor.
Okay.
There's courses that are offered at driving schools that are tailored for riding, but they don't give you hands-on experience when it comes to handling the bike. So I went to a
proper school.
A private tutor that does purely riding, and they are very available. The prices are very affordable.
And there's more of them out there.
There is a handful of them out there.
So you're saying clearly, for the record, that you did not go to FFRD or FFRS, which is the football field riding school, which is where most people go to learn how to ride and drive. You're saying that, for the record, football field riding school was not your portion.
That was not my portion.
All right. Talk to me about anyone thinking about this wonderful machine here thinks it's easy, just hop on, crank it on, and off you go. And Bob's your uncle. Tell me about the intricacies of riding a bike like this. For anyone who's looking to get into bikes, cycling as well, talk to us about what do you need to do, what do you need to know to be able to ride, not just properly, but safely for yourself and others.
Great. We'll start by saying that before you decide that you want to ride a bike, please sit down and have a serious conversation with yourself and be like, do I really want to do this?
And I assume this is what you did as well.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm borrowing a leaf from what I did.
Brilliant. Please.
Yes. So the whole idea of you having a conversation with yourself is because you have to think, am I going to be responsible enough for myself and for the pedestrian, for the cyclist, and for the person driving around? So that's question number one. Then you sit down, after analyzing that, you sit down and do research on tutors or trainers on riding. There's a handful of them. I can mention names. There's a handful of them, honestly.
At the end of the show, you will give us plugs for all of them so that our watchers, our viewers rather, can be able to
Will
go and do that.
Will do.
What's next on the checklist? Okay, so you've decided, you've sat down, you've called yourself to a meeting. I still want to ride.
Yep.
I've found someone who can teach me how to ride proper and not in the football field.
Yeah.
What's next?
So on top of all of that, you have to realize that you need gear, and it's not just gear, it's proper gear.
Okay.
And that will honestly cost you a shilling or two.
Mingina, with utmost respect, would you step down from your seat? I would like you to demonstrate to us exactly what you have on and what role it plays in the gear. You came geared up.
Yeah.
You say all the gear all the time.
Gladly.
Putting it to the test.
All right.
Our camera person, would you please show us what she's got on? Now, talk to us from top to bottom. What do we need? What's the first thing you need? What's the most important gear?
There's no order or special gear. They're all important because everyone plays
all
an
gear
important
is
role.
equal.
Yes,
all
right. Gear is equal, but in no specific order. I'll start from the head.
Okay.
So from the head, I need a helmet.
Okay.
Yeah, the helmet has to be certified. So there's a certification at the back.
Ah, right. Is this thing that says ECE or something?
Yes.
This one.
So this one is ECE certified. No, sorry, it's DOT certified. This is the number. So it has to be there's different certifications depending on which country it's from.
That? Right here, DOT. So when you go to buy a helmet, you make sure it has DOT certification.
Yes.
That shows it's a proper helmet. It's good quality.
Good quality.
What's
and
next
also
to look
for? This cushiony thing inside.
The padding inside.
Yeah, the padding inside.
Yes.
And does it fit you properly?
Oh, they're different sizes.
They're different sizes. There's the small, there's the medium, there's the large, there's the extra large.
If you have a big head like me, what are you going to do?
So you have to fit it on.
Okay.
Yes, and then it needs to have room for your hand, but not extremely big again.
Okay. Talk to me about this thing, the visor.
So the visor, there's the clear one and there's the tinted one. So I think that is also
personal
a preference thing, yeah.
Okay, there's something here that makes you look like an armed robber. Talk to us about this. What's this?
You cannot call me an armed robber, but it's fine. So this is called a balaclava. It's technically a mask.
Okay.
The whole idea of this is to prevent oils from your hair or sweat from getting into your mask. Sorry, your
helmet.
Helmet, sorry. So this is what will get dirty and not your helmet.
Brilliant.
Yes,
so it stays clean for longer.
Yes.
So you start with this and then you pop this on.
Yeah.
And then what's next? What's next on the list?
Yep. So
I see some stuff here.
So that should be the last thing you wear.
It should be the last. Oh, brilliant. I'll put it aside for now. Next.
Right. So you can go ahead and put on your padded jacket, which I have here. It's like a separate thing.
Okay.
So if you look at this is a jacket and a reflector.
Okay.
So there are two separate things that I tend to put together.
Okay.
So this is a padded jacket. It has pads on the elbow, on the shoulders, and at the back, like the whole backbone is covered in pad.
Okay.
So that's a proper riding jacket that's padded.
Okay.
Then
what's its job?
Its job is, unfortunately, if you have an incident and you fall off your bike, the pads will absorb the impact when you hit the tarmac.
I see.
Yeah, so you
don't lose any skin and
exactly
or teeth or stuff.
Yeah, and the bones.
Right.
Like these are the painful bones, for lack of a better word. I'm not scientific here.
You got it.
Yes.
Awesome. And then just put that right at the back. So that's for safety.
Yes.
And then this is for
the
color is quite
creamy.
And what's the job of that?
So this is a reflector jacket. So this
that
glows,
strip,
like in the dark, in the dark here. So very visible on the road even at night. So in case we're like in a dark place or whatever, or even on any like well-lit road, you can clearly see me from
afar.
Far away.
Okay, brilliant.
So this is a reflective jacket. That goes on top of this.
Okay.
So down here I have knee guards. My knees are like I have some plastic thing inside here.
Okay.
So the same thing, it absorbs the impact in case I fall off the bike.
Okay.
And Fun fact is that the niggers that we put on top of the trousers need to be inside the trousers.
Ah.
Yeah, because if you, again, unfortunately fall off the bike, if they're on top, you tend to slide because they're slidey. It's plastic anyway.
Right.
But if it's inside, where you fall is exactly where you land.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What else have you got? I see you've got some special shoes on.
Yes, so these are riding boots that are like specifically designed for riding.
Okay.
They have this padded thing here.
Right.
Here. Oh my God, can I? This
I got you.
on the ankle to protect the ankle and the heel and the
toe.
the whole toe thing. Yes.
Okay, brilliant. And then finally,
the last thing that you need to put on is your gloves, which go on after you've started the bike, because at times it gets to be difficult to do it with them. But they are.
But these are not just regular gloves. They're not winter gloves.
No, they're
or
not.
welding gloves, for that matter.
Yes, they are specifically riding gloves, and they have this plastic thing on the knuckles to protect your knuckles. Some tend to be webbed here because, unfortunately, it is very easy to break your little finger, your pinky. For some reason, I don't know the science behind it. So you'll find that some of them are webbed together.
To keep the fingers.
Yeah, to keep them together in case of anything.
Oh, I see. All right.
So
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Have a seat. And I believe that's more or less the same kind of gear you need for cycling as well?
Just not as heavy.
Not as heavy.
Yes.
I see. Okay, good people. We'll give you a short break for you to digest all that information, all those colors. They're very intimidating, very exciting, depending on where you sit. Good for you. And when we come back, we'll go back to George on the other side. He's got his panel of gentlemen, eminent gentlemen, I should say, and we should be able to give you a little bit more information. We'll be right back after the break.
With my guests, two gentlemen are involved in the border sector. I still have got Kevin Mubadi, National Chair, Border Safety Association of Kenya, as well as Charles Munyoi, Border Riders Awards Projects Coordinator. Charles, you have heard what the riders on this other side of the set have had to say. When you look at this sector, the border sector,
yes,
Do you think that can be mirrored?
It can work, but there should be regulation, and preferably self-regulation. And I think that is what Border Riders Awards is all about. Yeah. You cannot enforce that as government. And you've had even one of the commercial riders saying exactly that as long as the police are not looking, you are not there, then you find leeway to do whatever it is that you want to do. So Border Riders Awards essentially, which was initiated last year but slowed down a bit, we picked from this year because we wanted to consult better with my colleague here and other stakeholders.
Yes.
Was about ensuring you achieve reduced number of accidents and incidents by way of ensuring we have a program that motivates the riders through cash awards to self-regulate. So basically it was about within a period of time, the one who is voted for by the biggest number of pillion passengers, because you're being voted for by the passengers you ferried through a short code, get some money. It is a simple, straightforward. And what was expected of the passenger is to confirm that he or she felt safe along the way. Number two, the rider, like my sister has said, was cladded properly. Yeah. And thirdly, of course, subsequently we would confirm that the rider was insured in terms of the motorbike, because that would be part of what was registered on the short code. The rider who had good conduct provided by the police and was a member of a SACCO, a registered SACCO. And our realization was that this industry does not require a lot to style up. For example, a rider will use the wrong way when it's even easier to go the right way. So that is something we need to tinker with. Why is it that you're going the wrong way and then you're coming back the wrong way? Yet it was very easy to go the right way and come back the right way. Why do you carry loads that are wider than even any other vehicle? Why do motorcyclists believe what they ride is not covered under the Traffic Act? Yet a motorcycle is part of a motor vehicle in terms of the traffic laws. Why do the police not stop guys on intersections? They have stopped all the other motor vehicles, but the riders are just zooming past, and it's an intersection. So clearly, when you stop this side of the road, it means the other guys have green light to come. So when you allow these guys to go, there's naturally going to be an accident. Why don't they check insurances? I mean, are these riders insured? Do they have driver's license? Do they have rider's license? So those are the basics that we are looking at. And we had a program. We have a program where we'll be able to confirm that. But importantly, it is the riders, due to the motivation that they are anticipating, that will go into that direction of doing those things our sister has said. Because if you allow them on their own accord, purely driven by the aspect of what they wake up to do, which is to make money, there are a lot of those things that they will not do. And you have seen them. You have seen riders with so many billion passengers until you're shocked. But if you go to a country like Rwanda, you will be shocked. Yeah? You cannot ride two of you even if a child is sick unless you call the police and you're given consent to do so. So I think what we are saying, before we get there, the government comes, whipping these things. It is important that we have other processes that build on this industry, because like I said, it's a huge, $1 billion a day industry, and we're not looking at the other aspects of the industry that are connected to the same, is really huge. You cannot ignore it. In terms of even what they do, they pick and drop passengers where normal average transport systems will not be able to go. Yeah, of course they risk, they do all these things. So this is not something we can ignore. The stakeholders, including, and I think I like what you guys are doing, this needs to be discussed severally so that all stakeholders come together, help these guys style up, for lack of a better way of putting it, so that we can have an industry that is organized where they are not dying like they're dying. They are not killing like they are killing. Because even those pedestrians that are hurt in accidents, to a large extent, there's a contribution by the riders, because they overlap on all manner of sides of the road. So essentially, and we are not condemning, we're just saying we need to think this through. Now that we cannot do without the borders, now that they're important to us, and against a backdrop of we have favorite riders who do us good. why can't we turn all of them into those favorite riders for the country?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we indeed believe that, you know, the transport sector stakeholders in the sector are listening and will be able to act upon that. Kevin, when you listen to recommendations that are coming in from Charles, are your people willing to take on this challenge, whereas they have been following, say, a certain way of behavior for a very long time? Are they ready to now move and say, okay, fine, even before, as a border rider, I even carry a passenger, I have to insist that they have to wear a helmet, let alone even me, before you as a rider, I mean, consider these safety options. Are you also putting the safety of your passenger first?
Yes, most of the time we always put the safety of our passengers first, but sometimes we get challenges. You find a beautiful lady with a very nice hair, so when you tell her, okay, now you need to put on your helmet, and she says, I can't put that helmet on my head. So that is the first challenge. That one is there automatically. She will not put it on because it is going to interfere with her hairstyle. Number two, the challenge that we have where he said that you find riders riding on the wrong side. I'm sure when you go to the CBD, you will really see that people are coming from wrong side, and when the traffic lights are put on red, you have to stop, they always pass. You know, everything has a genesis. When you go to the city center, we have, I think there are some fake cops, others pretending to be kanjos, others kanjo themselves who collude together to arrest riders. When you stop at those traffic lights, someone just comes and removes your key. For you to get that key, you must pay 3,000, 2,000 or forever or whatever. But now, when they take your key at maybe 8 a.m. in the morning, you don't have even a shilling. Maybe that is the first client. Or it is when you are just entering town and you decided to stop at the traffic lights. Do you think tomorrow you'll stop there again? It is impossible. So what we need to do is to start from the county government side. We must have sanity with their officials. If a boda has complied, he has a driving license. Because this guy, when they take that key, the guy has a driving license, the guy has insurance, he has a helmet, he has boots, he's complete. But they just want that bribe. So if you remove that bribe aspect of harassing riders within the town, if you go to Rwanda, riders ride around without any problem. Nobody harasses them at the traffic lights. But here in Nairobi, when you stop, someone just removes the key. You are not sure if he's the right guy, he doesn't have a uniform or whatever, but they collude among themselves. So what we were looking at is how will the county government accept we do self-regulation. If one of us has a problem, then we ourselves, we can arrest the guy. And
have you attempted that before? Have you attempted
but
to
you know, we cannot attempt it because we don't have the goodwill from the county government.
Okay.
These are some things that you need to sit down and discuss, and then the county government says, okay, our askaris will not harass your people. You have the liberty to bring all those wrongdoers, and that thing can be done within a day, and you'll never see anybody going wrong side. Because if I'm stopped at the traffic lights, I'll wait. When the lights goes green, I'll go. There's nobody who will come to harass me here. But if they're still harassing riders here and asking for bribes, which they don't have, they'll have to look for other ways to make sure that they're always in a motion. The reason why you find them going through wrong side is that they must be in a motion always. Number two, you look at our roads in Kenya, you find that these roads were made for vehicles. We have lanes for vehicles. Now, there is a traffic jam. The reason why you get off your car to jump on a motorcycle, it's for it to take you faster to where you are going. For example, you are late. But if the regulation says that you have to queue behind the vehicles, why did you come off your car? So boda always try to find a way to meander and go make sure that you arrive safely and faster. Through that meandering, that's where you see that they scratch your cars and all. But when we have a special dedicated lane for the motorcycle, and I even wrote to the Kenya director, I wrote to the ministry, I told them we just need only 1.5 meter. It is enough for motorcycle, and you can imagine Nairobi city, we have boda dedicated lanes. You can imagine that. Even the international people will come to just study. How is it? Because there's no way this boda rider will interfere with the vehicles. There will be no accidents, you see, because they have their own dedicated lane, a small lane for them. So these are the changes that we should do, because these motorcycles are here to stay forever and ever. And we are increasing every month with almost Right now, it was 30,000 per month, but because of the economy, we are back to around 10,000 every month, the motorcycles that are entering into our roads.
Okay. We need to cross over to Linda, but I just want a minute of you each, just briefly, or even 30 seconds. So sort of, if you look at the prism, looking into 2024 and beyond, even as you couple that with your closing remarks, what do you see or what do you expect, do you think is achievable now, and some of the things that perhaps you can see in the future?
I think I need to see a situation whereby the ministry puts these stakeholders together in a room and comes up with a solution to the issue of the border industry against the backdrop of what he has just said. We need these guys. We need them because, number one, they are employed and they are employing, by extension, courtesy of what they do. Secondly, they are giving a very good service, a serious service that might not be provided elsewhere. As opposed to us waiting until some ugly incident occurs, and that's when we run up and down chasing everyone out of town. It is important we sit down together, bring in other stakeholders like the county government, like he has rightfully said, bring Kevin on board, the experts like we have over here, and blow it out. Let us have a conversation around what can be done without looking like we are looking down upon one another.
Okay.
To improve on this industry, make sure self-regulation is achieved, because trust me, if you are somewhere in the rural areas and you belong to a specific circle and your circle registration, whatever it is displayed properly, and you have someone you're looking up to, you don't want to wrong because he's just your neighbor over there. You'll do all these things, and you don't have to wait for Kevin to get to know through other means that you're not a good person.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. Kevin, in a minute, can you tell us, shall we be seeing repeats of Forest Road now, Kitengela, and what are some of the things that perhaps you'd even appeal to your fellow border riders to be able to do? Okay,
what I want to appeal to our riders, first of all, is to be more cautious. There's nobody who wakes up early in the morning and plans to go and knock down someone. Because first of all, your car is very expensive and you will not want to dent it just because you are going to knock down a border rider. Accident happens. And when an accident happens, as an organization, we said, we will make sure that we follow up to make sure that you get your justice. So don't beat people on the road in a pretense of getting justice, because you are worsening things. You are destroying the scene of crime and all those other manner of things. So as an organization, we make sure you follow it up to make sure you have your justice. Secondly, we just want to ensure that all the riders across the country are registered to bring discipline. Because if you know that you are well registered, these issues of crime, runaway crimes, they will not be happening. You will not lose your motorbike from Nairobi to be ridden in Busia, because once it gets there, we'll easily track back and know where it came from.
Thank you indeed, gentlemen. We have to go back to Linda's set and be able to pick what is coming in from there. Kevin Mbubadi, National Chair, Border Safety Association of Kenya, as well as Charles Munyui, Border Riders Awards Project Director. Right now, to cross over to Linda on the other side. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, George, and also to the two gentlemen for the great insights. And Aworotet, who's watching us all the way from Qatar, says the road safety fraternity needs to up their game, though, of course, to say that we are done with this kind of blame game. And of course, I think all we have said this evening rounds up to about 10 points. Just what are we doing to reduce the high cases of mortality? What are we doing to make sure that we have, good infrastructure, and as well address driver behavior, and of course address the concerns on lack of enforcement, which is basically what it is that Brown speaks of, pedestrian safety, to ensure that everybody who's using the road, or perhaps pedestrians, then have safe spaces to cross over the road or to cross to the other side, and also ensuring that we have great vehicle conditions, that you do not want to take your vehicle or your bike to the road when it's not in the best of shape. The question of overloading and overcrowding, I think that has been addressed on the other side of George's, as well as inadequate emergency response and a lack of public awareness. There needs to be that, awareness. There needs to be that reminder to the public of importance of taking care of ourselves on the road, and as well need for comprehensive policies. Melania, as we come to a close, how do we get ourselves from this space of blame game? How do we get ourselves from this space of constant and constant? And I mean, I know this is work in progress and we cannot overlook that, but there needs to, we need to have tangible results out of it. How do we get ourselves to that point.
Linda, as you say, it is time that we can't keep on blaming driver, government, and it's time to realize that road accidents are killing more than diseases. For example, the statistics for only January, how many lives we have lost. And remember, these are lives. We are not talking about scores or anything. It's about somebody who was depending on, being dependent on children or family. So it's a matter of all the agencies to come together. Let us have the government announcing this as a disaster. It is time, because I see we have campaigns on HIV, we have campaigns about diabetes, but I have not seen the government or any institution coming up with it's time we talk about road accident. What is really happening? So it's a time it's a wake-up call to all those agencies, to NTSA, Kenha, Kura, and come together so that we can stop blaming. The road is not constructed well. We don't have walkways for pedestrians. We don't have places for riders to ride. So if we come together, can we have a common solution? And I believe we can. Michuki managed, maybe if not 100%, maybe 50%. So I would also go back to saying, we have enforcers who are supposed to enforce. They make policies, yes, we follow. Do you enforce? As my colleague has said, it's about discipline. So he is on the right, the other person is on the wrong. So who is supposed to correct this? It's our enforcers. But our enforcers, instead of doing the right thing, you accept the retro thing you get as 50 bob. You get a vehicle from Nairobi to Nakuru, has passed around 5 traffic officers. Sorry to say that. Then you find it gets to somewhere, it causes an accident, you hear it didn't have an insurance, and yet it had all those stopovers. So who are killing us? Honestly, we get a vehicle, it has a sticker, inspection, it's fine. Then on the road, you are told, no, there was an issue with the tire, there was an issue with, yet the inspection, it can show very well. It passed the inspection and it's fit to be on the road. So who are we to blame? So to avoid all this blame, why don't we come together? We have had a very good explanation by our biker lady here. So if our motorcycle crew can adopt that. But you will only see the government coming to a standstill when you hear there is something happened at Forest Road. Now they start running all over with the motorbike, they need insurances. After that, that story dies until we get another incident. We talk. After it dies, after a week, period. We had the accident that happened along Naivasha-Nakuru Highway. We had a full statement on what will be done. Was it implemented? No.
Good question. But also let's play the devil's advocate and acknowledge that there have been a lot of campaigns to just address the concerns of road safety, and therefore we appreciate that, but we also agree that there needs to be that push for implementation of ensuring that everybody is disciplined on the road. We come back to you, Brown. What would be your parting shots, even as we exit this stage, in terms of making sure that we all wholesomely move towards attaining road safety?
First of all, what we need to do is to make sure we have cooperation. Like, I want to thank my colleague, Kevin Mpati, the president of Boda, a national umbrella. Kevin Mpati has been doing a lot of work, uniting all the youth in Nairobi. Despite that we have challenges here and there, we have people who see him in different manner, we have people who have jealousy towards his work. Kevin Mpati has been mobilizing youth, giving them education. Like the other day, I used to operate in a motorbike sector, like 3 years ago. Kevin Mpati used to organize meetings.
Let's have the mic.
School of Nairobi, School of the Government, at Lower Kabet. We used to go there. We get education on how to ride, on how to put on safety, whatever, like the lady who has been explaining there on how to do it.
Right.
Kevin has done it. But the problem is, somehow the problem comes from our government officials. Like Kevin is doing a lot of work to make sure
the youths are there to respect rules and regulation. But the government is not recognizing Kevin as the president of Wataboda. They need to empower him so that he can take care of those.
Is Kevin not empowered? He perhaps should tell us that. But anyway, time also is moving very fast.
Then the second thing, the government needs...
As you sum it up, yes.
The government also need to recognize the Matatu sector. They need also to recognize the taxi sector. And then they link all officials, Boda sector, Matatu sector, taxi sector. If they link their officials, they will come with a solution. All of them will respect traffic rules and regulation. Even if we will have something like accident, you cannot plan for an accident.
Right.
Then it depends on how you react. I used to blame motorbike youth because sometimes they used to involve in accident. You find that very easily or faster they stone your vehicle.
Yeah.
But I used to blame them. But for now, I discovered something.
Okay.
It depends on how you react on them.
Yeah.
You hate one of them,
they will come for you.
You talk shit, they come for you.
Well,
so we just need to respect each other on the road. Then we evaluate the situation for us to make life easy on our roads.
Everyone is laughing in studio. I don't know whether we need to put a disclaimer on that, but the facts of life are here. We keep saying that, it is working in America. For those ones who have had the blessings of traveling, it is working in Rwanda. It is working in I don't know what country. Why can't we make it work? Brown Shalwa, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening, as well as Melania Twitter, expert Parkside Road Safety Awareness. Brown is a taxi driver. He says this is moved from, boda to the taxi level. We can only hope that we grow and grow as we make the sector better. We have to close. And so I throw it to you, Victor Muyakani. My name is Linda Alela. Victor.
All right. Thank you, Linda. Now, for my ladies, we're really out of time, but I know you people are wise enough to sum it up as quickly as you can. Starting with you, what do you need to see done, and what's your personal message to Kenyans? There's your camera.
What I need to see done is for all of us to come together and realize that we can throw words at each other, we can blame each other, but we still have the same roads to use. We have to share the roads. My message for everyone out there is that safety, remember that what I said before is you sit yourself down, have a meeting with yourself and figure out if you're sure when you get on the bike, you're going to be safe yourself and for the people around you. That applies to everything. As a pedestrian, as a cyclist, as a motorist, as whether you're driving, whatever means you're using. Are you safe yourself, and are you making the world around you safer?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Cyprian?
What do I want to see done?
Yes.
I would like the national government and the city governments to put their money where all their documents saying NMT is actually is. We cannot
By NMT,
keep
you mean just
non-motorized transport.
Non-motorized.
Yes. We cannot be talking about how we're going to design sustainable cities, but when we look at the nitty-gritties, the finer details, we realize there's no budget for walking and cycling. It's really unfair. We go to great extents to design roads for cars, and even borders are incorporated in the system, but pedestrians who are majority in this country, cyclists who are coming up, we are not considered. We are an afterthought. I think it is important to budget and budget and budget.
All right. What's your message for Kenyans?
Kenyans, please share the road. We all belong on the road. Everybody has family that would like to see us back home. So have courtesy, have kindness. We are all going through something. You don't have to exact whatever you're going through to a stranger. Just be kind on the road.
Right. Good people. That's all we had for you this evening. On my unique set, we had Cyprian Odada, who's an urban planner, as well as a non-motorized transport researcher. She also comes from one of the most influential cycling groups, Critical Mass, in Nairobi and in Africa. We also had... Now, listen, I must mention your English name. But good people, thank you so much. Mingina Jane, thank you for joining us. You wear many helmets, but you've come in from, again, a very influential motorcycle club in Kenya. You've heard it all. This is the People's Court. The questions are ours. The answers are yours. And the verdict is for all of us. We want to say a big thank you for choosing us to inform you this evening. Thank you to all our guests for making time all the way up to now. My name is Victor Moyakane. I wish you a good night full of God's blessings.
And before we leave, just some feedback because they've been sending so much. Alex Rungai from Ngong, Marco Mwami, Stephen Mwanda from Nakuru, Mwami from Kajiado County, Nehemiah from Tharaka Nithi County, Ronald Nyariki watching from Borabu, Kericho Town watching from Kericho, Mwala watching from Ruaraka Sub-County, Kevin Obiri from Kitutu Chache, Pastor Joseph Mwangi watching from Lolongo, and all these who have been watching. We want to thank you so much for your tremendous feedback, even as we wish you a wonderful night.
Oh, yes.
My name is George Mareka.
Thank you. Shout out to Nyawira, Wamumbi, Pastor Sam, all the people that made this a reality. Shout out to Critical Mass. Shout out to Boda Boda Safety Association of Kenya. Shout out to Sikika. Shout out to Pace. Is it Pace Setters?
Parkside Road Safety.
Park. Goodness. God bless you. Thank you so much and good night.
And our sign language interpreter was Rhoda Nyamai.
All right. Good night. God bless.
Thank you.